Ashutosh, you had sent this program. You said that you tried it, but giving some errors. Let me see what are the errors here. Or okay, it is not giving any output. Let's see. The message should be very clear, right? Enter the number. That's it. Now I is equal to 2. I less than num. Okay, no problem. I plus plus. Hmm. No, this is basically, see, they to find numbers between, put the program to print whether number entered is prime or not. Okay. Uh, if number mod I is equal to, see, uh, this has to be, see, this break statement, you have to put it inside the this thing, right? Because you want these three statements to be associated with this condition, right? So probably now it will be executed. What that? Why the program was not giving any output? Only because you put the condition right, right? But since you didn't put the braces here, because all these statements are going to be executed if condition is true, if the number is divisible by that or whichever I value of the I. Since no braces were there, only single statement was executed, right? And he was getting executed or not getting executed. But break was executed definitely, right? Since break was getting executed, the loop is executed only once each time. That was the problem. So I hope you got this new chapter, because pointer is was a concept as a chapter only. It was just concept. I explained you the concept. Now we will take a new chapter today, and presence of pointers will be, in each chapter uh, today onwards. So in each chapter we will deal along with pointers and its concepts, its applications, and everything. Right. So pointers will be in this chapter, arrays. In the next chapter, strings. There will be again pointers. Right. Again, in file handling, there will be a pointer, right? Again, in command line arguments, there would be a pointer. So, instead of now taking one single chapter and doing all these things, it is not good idea. In some books, they take a single chapter as a pointer, and they discuss array and all these things. But that is not a good idea, right? So today we will start a new chapter, that is arrays in C. As I told you, uh, there are secondary data types, and yesterday I told you that pointer is a secondary data type or a derived data type, right? So likewise, the second uh, derived data type is an array, right? An array. Basically, um, in the first chapter, you solved one example in one program. In the again in the I think loop chapter, there was one program to find uh, total and percentile marks of a student for five subjects, if you can recall. Then we need to declare those five variables, right? M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, or subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, like that, right? For understanding purpose, this is okay. But if you look at these five variables, what is the what inference we can take out from this is that first of all these five variables M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, uh, we declared to store marks. So uh, nature of contents inside M1, M2, all variables is same. All are marks, right? What is the second inference we can take out is all are integers. So all are integers and all are marks. So what will happen if I tell you, okay, um, store marks of 40 subjects throughout your engineering, store marks of 50 subjects, and calculate percentile marks. So this is not a true case, but at least in your engineering year there are 10 or 11 or 12 subjects. Then will you go for declaring 12 different variables and no uh, take that input for 12 times, no, and then again each time when you calculate total marks you will write statement as total is equal to m1 plus m2 plus m3 up to m12 or m10. So that is not a good idea. That cannot be no a nice way of solving problem, right? That is not a good programming practice. So then Dennis Ritchie gave another data type as a derived data type. Why we call it as pointer or like an array is a derived data type? Because the way you cannot declare a variable as a pointer PTR. No, no, that is not identified. Why? Because pointer is not a built-in data type. Pointer is not a keyword in C. So similarly, array is a derived data type. So there can be an array of integers or array of floating point values or array of doubles or array of characters. But in this chapter we will not deal along with array of characters because that is a separate story, right? And that array of characters we call it is a string, so it is treated differently as compared to array of integers or array of doubles, right? So today we will see what is an array as a derived data type, right? What is the basic terminology in this chapter? Because we will be doing directly programming so that you understand very clearly. So these are the terminologies we are going to discuss in this chapter. Array, as I told you, is a secondary data type. What is the notation of an array? Because like pointer, when you declare int star ptr, that star attached to the variable uh, notifies or informs compiler that ptr is going to be a integer pointer. Similarly, there should be way so that compiler understands that you are dealing along with an array, right? So there is array notation. Again, operator is there. We will look at that. Then what is an index of an array? Very important concept, because same concepts are there in all programming language, like C++, Java, Python, everywhere. The same array notation is there. Then what is how array elements can be assigned numbers, right? How array can be initialized, again separate story. uh, Again, now pointer will come into this again picture. We will see what kind of operations can be performed on pointers. Very important, because we know that built-in data types are there. Integers, we can uh, add two integers, we can subtract two integers, we can perform a modulus operation on integers, right? Mm, we can compare two integers. So these are the operations which can be performed on built-in data types. We can even compare two characters, or two alphabets rather, whether A is less than B. So we can perform that. So here in this chapter we will be performing what kind of operations can be performed on pointers, right? Very important. Then what is the this concept base address of an array? Then how an array can be passed to the function? Because see now, in each chapter, all previous chapters will concept learned in previous chapter will reappear here. And that is the reason I tell regularly that once your earlier concepts are clear, then only you will understand the next chapter. Then there is a two-dimensional array. Basically, there can be a multi-dimensional array, but we will limit our discussion to two-dimensional array, right? And again, there will be a discussion how pointers and two-dimensional array works. The most difficult concept to understand in this chapter, but you don't need to worry, because I have created animated video which is available in your this thing course given to you, which explains two-dimensional array and pointers with lot of animation, extensive animation. um, you may not believe. I think to create that two-dimensional array video, mm, I think it took me somewhere around 3 months. Three people working for 3 months to create that video of I think 7 8 minutes at the most, or 10 minutes. I don't remember exactly the duration of that video, animated video. Right. The reason is, the intention is that whoever watches that video, now you are going to watch that, you will understand how that pointer and two-dimensional array works. Right. Today onwards, you will understand the importance of the animated course given to you. Okay, till today everything was fine, but today onwards, rather pointer chapter onwards, you will start understanding importance why animated course is important for you, right? Okay, because today onwards, whatever concepts I am going to teach you, you will understand, but you cannot visualize, and I'm not in a position to know show all that is the reason I created that animated course. Okay. Earlier program we will discuss first. So int, we used to having m1 comma m2 comma m3 m4 and m5 marks of 5 subject, right? We used to having variable as total and float variable as percentage. We were having that, right? And we used to write that enter marks, right? So and then you we'll write say program now using functions, because whatever we have learned we will try to use that, right? So I'll write total is equal to uh, total marks, and we need to send like that again M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, right? And percentage is equal to, I will call another function uh, uh, find what average. Let's see name of the function, right? So I will write the prototype first. So that will be int total marks. M as capital. This is sometimes convention. Huh? If two words are are joined together in function name, uh, then total marks is written like this convention, so that it is readable. Basically, I have it is called a camel case, right? Hump is there, no, in between. So there, the prototype will be int comma int comma int comma int comma int, right? And then another function prototype, that is this is the find average is returning going to be returning float. So return type is going to be float. Then find average, right? It is going to take one argument, that is the integer. So we have done along with the function prototypes. Like now let's write uh, definitions. So int uh, total marks, and there will be int again, lot of variables you need to declare, like suppose int x1, x2, x3, x4, and x5. Those can be m1, m2, m3 again, as I told you, right? And you can write here int total, total is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5, right? Return total. I take simple programs so that you understand the basics. Uh, Simple programs, but all concepts are covered, right? So float will be there, then find average, it will be int suppose aggregate, and there will be one variable, suppose percentage. Percentage is equal to even you can avoid that variable, directly you can return value as I shown before. So I'll write percentage aggregate. It has to be typecasted since it is an integer, So I'll write here float. I hope you can recall the typecasting concept, and I will write here divided by 5 return. I hope this compiler works again along with that float and double. I don't know what the problem compiler has got. Rather editor. I mean IDE. So I'll return here percentage, right? So we have divided the program into two functions. Now, what is the problem here? Total is equal to, okay. No. Haven't we declared total? Yes, it is declared. Okay, spelling is wrong. TOTAL. Okay. What is this? Int. Okay. Cannot write like this. In the earlier C, when we learned C, this was allowed. I don't know. This might be allowed at currently also. We will check it. When we wrote program, when we learned programming way back 22 years back, this was allowed. We'll check whether the current compilers. What is the warning here currently giving it? Okay, we have not printed that. We have not printed any output. So total marks equal to percent D and total, right? Printf percentile marks equal to percent f percentage. That's it, right? So let me build again. So far everything is fine. Enter marks. Suppose I enter marks of 5 subjects. So it is good, right? Total marks are 327 and percentile marks are 65.40. The good factor is that at least we solved one more assignment using functions, right? Now I will copy paste this program and create another project where we will try to write the program using an array. So first of all, how array can be uh, how array can be declared. So if you want to declare an array of integers, right, then there should be a data type. What is the syntax? Data type, right? Then name of variable, name or name of an array, name of an array. That's it, right? And then opening curly brace, right? And then inside opening, sorry, curly brace, no, square brackets, and size of an array, right? This is basically syntax. Okay. Uh, let's directly use the syntax for uh, this program so that we understand the basics and everything, right? So instead of so many variables, we will declare a single variable, but single array variables, right? So I'll declare array variables as marks. That's it, right? So this is the name of an array, opening and closing square brackets, and size of an array. So I'll give here 5. This is a declaration of an array. What happens when you declare an array? 5 memory for 5 integers is stored, is given by the compiler. 5 integers. If one integer is going to take 4 bytes of memory, 20 bytes will be allocated. 20 bytes, right? So, and all these elements of an array are stored at contiguous memory locations, right? So, see, that's why we cannot array. So there will be first element, second element, third element, like that. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Though I actually, okay, whichever part is not necessary, I will remove this, right? Let's first I will comment all these things, right? And I will start. I will write everything from the beginning. Okay, some time will be time will spend, but no problem. I don't want you to get confused. We'll go step by step, right? So this is array declaration. What do we want to see? If I am saying that array elements are stored contiguously inside the memory, we will check it whether it is true. So I will declare one variable, but before that, one more thing. Uh, since these array elements are stored in a contiguous memory locations, each element has got an index, what we call it is the index of an array, right? So index of first element of an array is 0, index of second element of an array is 1, index of third element of an array is 2, and index of last element of an array is size minus 1. What is the size? 5. So index of last element of an array will be 4, because indexing starts from 0. Okay. So sorry. If I want to store marks, suppose I can write marks of 0 is equal to 78. This is called assignment. Marks of 1 will be, suppose, 67. Marks of 2 will be 89. Marks of 3 will be, suppose, 65. Marks of 3 will be, suppose, 91. Right? These are assignment. Okay, assigning elements to array. Since what is the benefit is that we need to declare only single variable, that is the marks, right? But since it is an array, there will be 5 elements contiguously. So you can assign on using the um, array index, right? So what will happen when this statement, all these statements are executed? Uh, Whichever marks you have stored, those will be stored inside the memory. So if I print now, printf, I want to print marks of suppose uh, five subjects are there, right? If I want to print marks of fifth subject, okay, so I will write here marks obtained in fifth subject equal to percent d, and here write marks of 4, right? Because marks of fifth subject are stored at the array index having 4, right? So if I run this code, it will print just 91. Marks obtained in fifth subject is 91, right? This is a this thing, what you can say, assignment. Why? Because assigning element to array, we should know. We are going to do it. Now, how it can be initialized? How array can be initialized? Because we know that when we write int I is equal to suppose 1, this we call it is the initialization. We call it the initialization. So how array can be initialized? Like this. Pair of curly braces, and inside that comma separated values, semicolon. This is an initialization of an array, right? What helps you in this is that, right, now whole array I can, all marks we can print to check whether initialization is done properly or not. So that's it, right? So that is the way to initialize. But this is not the way to do programming, right? If something is repeatedly done, we know what is the remedy. That is the loop. Okay. So in loop, use the loop now. So we have already declared a variable. We can write for I is equal to 0, right? I is equal to 0. I is less than or equal to, what should be the condition part now? 4. Don't write 5. I plus plus, right? And inside this, I will write printf. Look carefully. Percent d, right? I will write okay. Percent d slash n, comma, marks of, inside pair of brackets. Put the I. Now this is how you can use the loop counter for accessing array elements, right? So same you will get here. What is the problem? There should be semicolon, right? So the whole array is can be accessed just using the function. If you can see 67, 89, 98, 91, 76. Now what is the limitation of an array? If you write here by mistake 5, that is wrong. Okay, compiler won't give any error, but that is called array doesn't have a bound checking. Array doesn't have a bound checking, so compiler is unable to do this. So if you write suppose by mistake these many elements in the array, then that is a big problem. The memory is given by only 5 elements, right? So whichever elements here, we call it is the memory corrupt. Memory corrupt because only 5 elements memory is given by the compiler. Now you are trying to store elements here, 2 more elements in the subsequent memory locations. Now see why we call it is a memory corrupt, because subsequent memory locations might have been given for any other variables in your program. Suppose this I variable has been given memory, okay, at a location subsequent to this array locations. So that I will be corrupted. Got my point? First of all, let's see how memory is allocated. So we will print uh, alongside, uh, we will print address as well. So percent u, right? And we will percent suppose 5d, and I will print the address of each memory location. So I will write address we get. Yesterday we print, if we wanted to print address of x, we used to write ampersand x inside a printf statement. So I'll write ampersand marks of each location, so I and comma. So we are trying to print address of each element and contents of each element. Address of each element, just attach ampersand. Contents of each element, we have removed that ampersand. So it will print now address and contents. Address, contents. That's it. Right? 5 elements. Intentionally, I have put this because no, if no space is there, we would be able to understand which is address and which are marks. So see here, 642248 at 67. Add 4 bytes to this. So 48 plus 4, that is 52. So it indicates array elements are stored contiguously. 52 plus 4, that is 56. Then 60, then 64. Beyond 64, beyond 64, there will be 4 bytes, right? Because this is starting address. Beyond 64, there will be 4 bytes. So 65, 67, 68, 67, right? 64, 65, 66, 67, right? Now, 64222268, that will be given to someone else. If you declare, suppose, we will check it whether what is the address of I here. Let's see what is that. We do not know because that is the row, that is not in control of programmer which memory is to be given. So address of I is equal to percent u, suppose slash n, and then I will send I, right? So it is given 48. So behind that, right? The compiler and operating system are intelligent enough. Okay, even though you have declared a variable, I variable after array, the, the operating system has taken care that programmer may make some mistake and all these things. So intentionally, the operating system has not given address as 642222 and 72, right? It has given 4 bytes previous to this first element of an array, right? So this is how those designers think out of the box, right? So this is how the array elements are stored. Uh, I hope this much you have understood. Now directly solve that problem, right? So I'll remove this. I declare our number as the total, right? Declare one variable as a float average, right? This is a loop counter variable. Now I will write. One more thing. Size of an array has to be given at the compilation time, right? At the compilation time means you have to give the size here. You cannot write like this. No, because compiler won't be in a position to know how many bytes of, for how many elements you want to give memory. So, and this even you cannot take dynamically. Such facilities there now in the recent C version, but no, what we call them as a variable array or some kind of thing. Okay, but don't. As of now, this is the scope of our first of all. Contains syllabus only because I don't want you to get confused. At least let's understand from some basics first, right? Because almost 90% of problems are can be solved using this array. So what I mean here is somebody thoughts of take the value at the runtime and allocate to array. This is not valid. Okay, so you have to give this um, the size of an array at this time only, right? Uh, but one more thing is there. This is valid. This is perfectly valid. If you are initializing an array, then compiler and operating system are enough clever, right? They understand that you have initialized an array, so size is not necessary because he has stored three elements. So operating system understands, a compiler understands, rather compiler understands that you want memory for three elements, three integer elements. So 3 into that 4, 12 bytes of memory will be allocated. That's it. And indexing will be 0, 1, 2, right? I'll give 5. And now we will input marks for 5 subjects, calculate that, and we will do the rest of the program same. So you can imagine or you can see directly how the earlier code can be simplified. So I'll write for I is equal to 0, very important, index I less than or equal to uh, 4. If you write I less than or equal to 4, some programmers may prefer like this, I less than 5, right? Because I am not going to take value as 5 since I is less than 5, right? And then I plus plus, right? And inside loop, what I want to do, everything I will write here. So I will write printf marks, uh, what marks? Enter marks, right? Enter marks. I will write here scanf percent d, and what you will write here now? We want to give address of first element of an array. So you write ampersand marks of first element, but we are writing it inside the loop, and intentionally I have given this as a 0, right? So we are using this I with two meanings. If you can observe, I is working as a loop counter and I is working as an index. Dual benefit is there, right? So same loop counter I will use to access array elements or index of an array. So I will write here I, right? Let's print that whatever is uh, input. So I will write for I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to 4, right? I plus plus. I'll print here percent d, suppose 4d, right? And marks of I again. So we'll take input and we'll print. That's it. We are not doing anything else. We are just trying to understand the basics of array. So I'll enter marks. That's what 65, 98, 55, 77, 55. That's it. Right? By mistake, suppose you write here pi. What will happen? The loop will be executed 6 times for sure. Right? And there is nothing is there. There doesn't exist and marks 5, because 5 is not, no element size is 5, right? So mm, basically it is not in your possession. It is like that. That is the encroachment we can call. If there is a no if there is some plot which doesn't belong to you, if you try to build something over there, you will be sued by the court. Why? Because that doesn't belong to you. Similarly, when you declare an array or whichever variable, when you declare an array, okay, you have been given that 5 elements memory. That's it. If you try to go somewhere outside here or there, it is going to create a problem for you. Okay, doesn't give any compilation error. Here it doesn't give any compilation error. Basically, this is a small mistake which cannot be notified, not by debugger as well. Okay, you won't get any warning or error in C. Okay, Java gives you error basically because Java removed that problem, right? To Dennis Ritchie, perhaps no, he didn't think like that, so probably he didn't make any. So if I write 63, 85, 95, 45, 12, so what is that? Okay, print some junk value 5. Okay, so no error, no warning, no runtime error. Any kind of error is not there. There is no compilation error. There is no linker error. You may not be knowing what is that linker error. I will come to that. Uh, that is not a runtime error. Nothing, no logic, nothing is there, right? So you have to be very careful, right? Okay. Now let's perform operations on that array elements. So I will write. mm, let's calculate the total. How total can be calculated? Let's initialize to 0. Lot of your earlier concepts will be again refreshed here. I'm going to calculate total. So for, right, I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to 4, I plus plus, right? I will write total is equal to total we have already initialized to 0, total plus marks of I, right? That's it. Very easy. Elements are continuous. So total initially is 0, right? Sorry. Total, that is first time control goes inside loop, total is equal to 0. 0 plus marks of I, so marks of first element, whatever you have entered. This again will be stored in the variable total. Then I will be incremented. So I becomes 1 here. Initially I was 0. I becomes 1 here. Again loop I is less than or equal to 4. Control comes inside. Earlier total marks are there. That will be added by marks at the second element of binary. Right? So likewise it will calculate the total marks. Apply same for as far as per se average is concerned, you don't need to do any kind of looping. So you can write total typecasting total divided by 5. Right? You can write here printed total is equal to %d slash n percentage is equal to 0.2 f slash n. You can write here total and percentage. What is that? It is not giving any help. My ID has got some serious issues. I don't know. What is here? Total is equal. Oh, spelling mistake here. That's why it was not giving any. Okay. Hmm. Percentage probably okay. Average is there. That's why it was not giving. Okay. So how loop and array index help you to take marks? So enter marks. Now the control is inside the loop, right? So you can write 63, 59, 75, 68, 45. That's it. Percentage is 0.2 f. What is wrong? You have not put the percent sign. If you do programs, you will make errors. If you make errors, you will learn. That is the crux of the story. Got that? Okay. Total marks are 400. Good marks. And percentage is 80. Right? Because from this, I have taught you array notation, what is index of an array, what is array assignment, what is array initialization. This I want to shift over now. Uh, these four parts are remaining. First five are over. So, if do you need something? I mean, to be repeated or no? Want some you have not understood and want to know? Is there anything?